something you learned? Were you born an entrepreneur?
You got to start small.
I have not allowed being a woman to hold me back.
Credibility is not just making money, it's about making sure that people trust what you're doing.
Law practice is not only about going to court, it's about advice.
It's very difficult to hire somebody who's not motivated and then make them motivated.
One of the things that I'm known for is integrity.
They have to see you as a person of integrity.
Welcome to the Executive Lounge. I'm Inshira Adam. You're welcome to the Executive Lounge, the thought leadership show that brings you the best minds and the insights from the lives of men and women who have scaled the daunting heights of starting, managing, and growing businesses and organizations right here at home and around the world. My guest today is an IT professional, has worked with Oracle systems for decades. Currently, he is the country leader for Oracle in Ghana, Franklin Asare. You're welcome to the Executive Lounge.
Thank you very much, Isha.
It's a pleasure to have you. And I listened to you speak last year at the Festival of Ideas, and you talked about how the world will continue to be shaped by technology and how important it is for us to be ready for that. Have you always wanted to be in the technology space?
I am an accountant. I'm a qualified accountant. I happened to come into technology by accident because I work for a company, an American company that were deep into IT, so my passion for IT developed. But I guess I'm here to stay now because the future of the world now depends on technology, and I'm happy to be here.
Wow. Let's learn a little about your background. You grew up in Koforidua, right?
I did. I went to Pope John, very proud of my school.
So you're a proud Pojoba?
Absolutely.
Oh, right. And then so after Pope John's, what was the life
I went
like?
to the United Kingdom, where I stayed since 1984. And then I did a degree, and I did ACCA. And I worked for several companies, Shaw Group, Foreign and Commonwealth Office in the UK. And that's where I learned Oracle, started learning Oracle, and I went to the US from 1999 to 2003. And that's where I was baptized into Oracle. And I have remained in Oracle.
Wonderful.
With the application ever since.
Okay. So it's quite interesting, the transition from accounting into technology. Apart from being exposed to technology where you worked, what was that trigger deep down inside of you that said, this is a worthy switch?
Because accounting is about recording transactions, and the recording of the transactions depends on technology. So for me, it was just a natural leap. And I found out that the more of technology, in terms of you understanding it, you were able to make decisions, and very good decisions. And the people in the C-suite were very interested, not necessarily in transaction recording, but in transaction reporting. And they were happy to spend money on technology. So it was career enhancing to be part of the technology stream.
Fantastic choice. So you find yourself running Oracle in Ghana now.
Yes.
And you have oversight for other...
I do financial services.
Right.
As a lead for Africa in terms of enterprise architecture, making sure I am providing the right platforms for all the banks in the region, and they can look at the future of banking on Oracle platforms.
Okay.
But since last year, I think by the 1st of August, I was given the opportunity to look after Ghana. All along, I'd lived in Ghana, but I spent most of my time on a plane traveling all over Africa. So at the moment, I look after all the big banks in South Africa, the biggest in Nigeria. And so I'm a financial services guy.
Okay, so you didn't really move too far away from your core financial skill set.
Yeah, but I also did marketing in the UK. I'm a member of the Chartered Institute of Marketing. So that gave me some marketing skills, and I guess in this role is giving me an opportunity to use it. And I also went to Manchester Business School to do an MBA. And I guess after that time, I became fully initiated, ready for the world of IT.
Wow. So let's learn a little more about you. Quite often at the core of a person's journey and success are some value systems that keep them going. What are yours?
Well, I believe in excellence. I certainly believe that Africa's future depends on technology supremacy and the ability to understand it. And as you know, in this part, in Ghana, I support so many things to do with technology because I definitely believe that the future Africa is pivoted around technology and political systems will have to line up.
Interesting you say political systems will have to line up. You know, recently, I mean, we've had quite a lot of talk about automating governance. We have paperless at our ports. The GRA is also working on all kinds of things to ensure that, you know, technology plays, you know, a central role in how tax administration is done. Would you say that we are taking that step in the right direction, or we're late to the party?
I think all that, as an academic, I certainly think we are late to the party, but I certainly think I'm happy to see that we're doing something at all. We are talking about public sector modernization. And we are talking about getting the efficiencies at the right level to be able to save money so that we can leapfrog as an economy. For example, if you look at public services, unless we digitize, the cost of running some of our public services is just a bit too much money. You make savings using the right technology bed, and of course you have to train your people to be able to deploy that technology. And the savings that you make can be used in other areas. For example, you can use technology in education these days to a very large extent in terms of deploying portals. I don't see how you can ignore technology and do well. It's not possible.
Wow.
It's not possible. Social media, for example, the power of social media. You need social media now as a government. In understanding your citizens and being able to deliver services to your citizens effectively. So without knowing where the people live, which is a challenge to us, without knowing the social media portals, I know you're on Facebook, I'm on Facebook, you can use Facebook as a tool to reach me. And the government needs to get to the extent where they use Facebook as a way of reaching people. It is here to stay.
So it's also a tool, apparently, you know, for measuring sentiments.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know these are bold statements, but you don't need to go to a general election to find out people don't like you.
Yeah, that's a very poignant statement to make, because you can see how people feel.
Absolutely.
Right there on social media.
Absolutely.
You know, and to a very large extent, and while we're talking governance and government, you know, the American election, we saw the aftermath with Cambridge Analytics and all of these things. How much of an opportunity does data present for our own growth?
Wow. Oh, I could be here for a whole hour, 2 hours.
I saw the look on your
my
face.
God. Data is the new oil. We're not talking commodities anymore. Your ability to mine data, use the data, monetize the data will govern the leaders in industry.
Wow.
Without,
how so?
Yes, because if you have the right data concerning people, you know how to mine it, you know what they like. If you have another child, they have another child, you know. If they marry, you know. If they buy another house, you know. If they want to buy a car, you know. You can tell. You can tell. So the people that we have lots of data at the moment, but the data is it's not been put in the right format to be able to monetize it. The data is unstructured. You have to structure the data to be able to use it. And you need big portals to be able to mine it. We are talking the world of big data.
And also, in the world of big data, what are the verticals and horizontal opportunities? I mean, for businesses, I can clearly tell, but how can government utilize big data?
Wow. I think for most economists, the government should be it should be a lot easier because the government owns all the data from the time you were born. Hopefully they should have it to the time you die. They have in terms of where you live. And all the services, all the taxes, where you work, they have all that information. Now, the banks and other institutions are using that data, but the people who actually own the data and have a right to use the data are not using it. There's something wrong somewhere. If you're a government and you mine the data and you use the data very well, obviously in the right manner because you can abuse it, you are going to empower your citizens. They will get better service delivery from government. You are going to get the right sentiments from your citizens as whether they like you or not. And you'll be able to save money in that service delivery. Of course, you need the money. to do other things, and you need to welcome the savings. We are spending so much money not knowing where it's going because we cannot test the efficiency of the way we are using government money because we don't even know. Isha, right now, if you have 200 Ghana cedis and you want to give it to some people in Ghana you think that deserve it, you will have a problem. You don't know where they live. You don't really know whether they need a service or not. So service delivery is hampered, it is hindered. And I think governments, with the best interest that they have, will want to serve the nation and want to serve the people that they have been elected to serve. But the ability to do so has not been possible because we don't have the right system in place to be able to do so.
And for you, data is critical to this.
Absolutely.
Because in understanding where these people are, the need becomes clearer.
Absolutely. I mean, there's this, I say this and I go into so many of these, I go to some channels and I say this. Data is like an atom. You start with data. Then on top of data, you mine data by analyzing data. Next level. Once you analyze data, it becomes information. Then you understand that information. It becomes wisdom. The next level becomes power. The next level becomes influence.
Wow. So you build a molecule right from the atom all the way
Absolutely,
up.
absolutely. So for you to have wisdom to be able to use the data, you need systems to be able to track it as an atom, as a molecule, at the very lowest level in terms of the strata of data. Without it, you can't make decisions.
Very profound.
So we are where we are because of our inability to leverage data.
But most people say, I mean, we don't have data.
We do.
Why? I mean, people...
Our data capturing systems are poor. They are in hard files. Go to some of our offices. The people are hiding behind the files because they are so high up. They need to be structured. They need to be copied. They need to be saved in the right manner. And they need to be used. They have lots of information.
The example of Rwanda keeps coming up a lot when you talk about leapfrog in development, and they've leveraged IT very well.
Yeah.
Why can't a country like Ghana, I mean, and other countries like us across the sub-region that are having these challenges? Is it a lack of appreciation from your observation, or some other reason?
Let me approach this carefully. Certainly, President Kagame is a leader, certainly a leader. I know he belongs to the Maxwell Institute. And these days, leadership is about digital leadership or digital entrepreneurship. So I know he has an appreciation of that. But I have no doubt in my mind that in this country, there are also people, I don't want to mention names, who are aware of this. I won't say the appetite to do it is not there. It is there. The willingness to leverage it. And I think I can see signs now.
Signs that make you
make me comfortable that we can do it. We can do it. Because I think they're beginning to get frustrated, realizing that without data they can't do anything. I am so sure. I have been in the software world all my life. I can tell you that we are so far behind the developed world. The only chance we have got as an African nation or Africa as a diaspora to be able to catch up with the Western world is to be able to use digital platforms. We are getting behind every day. Every day, the gap. So we are developing as an economy now, but we are still far behind. Far, 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 far behind. But I get encouraged to answer your question now is because now our ability to access the internet has improved. Ghana is one of the highest in terms of access to internet services. It's good mobile devices. So we have begun to build that infrastructure to do it. The Ministry of Communications is doing a lot in that regard, and I appreciate the efforts. This is the time now to build upon. It's like you're building a house, you have the foundation in place. So we need to build a structure upon it. And these are exciting times. I believe if you're 18 to 35, and you are an African, and you are a Ghanaian, then these are very, very good times for you.
Looking at that age gap or age bracket you just mentioned, I'd go back to I think, a document that was co-authored by the Africa Development Bank.
Yeah.
I think it's called the Africa demographic dividend.
Right.
And that in about 20 or so years, we're going to have a very massive population. I think 1 of every 5 jobs would be on this continent.
Yeah.
And, we'll more than double our youth population, which already is quite high.
Yes.
Why does that present in your mind an opportunity and not the flip side of a time bomb, as others would like to believe?
Interesting. I certainly think that it presents an opportunity. It needs to be harnessed to also remain an opportunity. Because these 18 to 35-year-olds can now create digital jobs, cross-border. There's no reason why somebody can't sit in Ghana and have a U.S. market. Just being at the back of a computer and selling something. There's no reason why we can't have the Amazons of this world from Ghana. Why not? So we need to look at our young people and say to them that the education that you've had is not about necessarily being employed by another, but the ability to use the digital era in which we find ourselves to be able to create some excellence and some products right here from Ghana for distribution throughout the world. It is now possible. In the days of my parents, in our day, it was not possible. It is possible today.
Okay.
And there are some companies doing well now. I don't want to mention names. Some people doing well, right out of Accra.
Okay. What kind of environment do we need to put in place to almost create a repeatable succession of these types of companies you talked about?
First of all, we need mentoring. And I think I've mentioned that already. As Oracle, we want to start with some digital startups. We need mentoring the right way. We need to identify the companies that are moving in the digital space and support them. And companies like Oracle want to be part of it. I want to even be part of it, even in a personal capacity. Because we've had experiences to be able to share in terms of creating businesses on the web. And for people to, all the way taking up to venture capital and being introduced to markets outside Ghana. We have some, but they need to be groomed. And they need to be groomed by the people who have gone ahead of us and who have that kind of experience. And I'm happy to support forums that will talk about this through our young people, through our churches, wherever we find them, because this is our moment, without a doubt.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, I'd like to learn a lot more about the senior team from Oracle were in town recently.
Yeah.
I'd like to explore some of the pronouncements that were made, what that means for us, and explore your passion for young people as well. That age gap, 18 to 35, it's one we definitely must look at.
Thank you.
We'll take a short break now, and when we come back, we'll be learning more from my guest, Franklin Asare, Country Director for Oracle Systems here in Ghana. This is the Executive Lounge. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Executive Lounge with me, Inshirado, and my guest, Franklin Asare, Country Leader for Oracle Systems in Ghana. Franklin, you talked about, and with some great passion too, about the importance of harnessing, the youth and giving them the requisite empowerment so that they can be the agents that create that leapfrog that the African economy as a whole and Ghana specifically can achieve. You've been involved in this space for a while. Why are you so passionate about young people?
I think it's an opportunity because the metrics we have as far as these young people are concerned, it's not anywhere else in the world. The Europeans are not having babies. We are 2, 3 to most families. We just need to harness them right. I think that the day and age where we went to school, worked for 1 or 2 employers and retired, those days are over. I think we need to prepare the young people to go to school, learn a lot of IT, become IT literate, and then work towards producing or making products that are internet products and selling them, working for themselves.
Wow.
This is the new age in which we live. Because the days of having a job, sure, they are over. By the way, job means just over broke.
There's very little comfort in that space.
Absolutely, you are not going to make it. So if we want to create the Facebooks of life, the Amazons of life, if you look at the top 10 richest people in the world, they are all in this space. If you look at the fact that Amazon now has even taken over Facebook, that should tell you that there's a power in the use of systems. Look at Google. We can do it here. Our young people are bright, they are keen, and they can receive this kind of mentoring. What we are not doing right now is making it available to them. And I believe there are leaders here who want to see this happen.
Well, how would you? Does this require, in your opinion, a shift in the way we structure our curriculum? At what point should this intervention be seen?
Interesting. I think certainly we need to embed it at the university level. Certainly, you need to graduate with a little understanding of a database. You need to know what Java is, because all these things that we have in our touch and feel is based on Java technology. And we need to incorporate that in our education, at least at the university level. These days, if you come out with a degree, it could be anything, without understanding of IT, you are still illiterate. Yes, in the world we live in, you're still illiterate. So that needs to come in. And as Oracle, we are prepared to help. And we've done it in Ethiopia.
Okay.
And we can do things here. We just need to sit down and encourage our young people to study some form of, I don't want to call it IT, because then everybody thinks that, oh, it's IT, I don't want to study IT. It's vital information for the future world that we are going to be part of.
Wow.
So,
You mentioned that you've done this in Ethiopia. Recently, there was a high-powered delegation, visited Ghana from Oracle, and you met with the president.
We did.
What was the essence of that meeting? I mean, Oracle already does business with the government of Ghana. Why was that meeting necessary at this point?
Well, we wanted to pay a courtesy call. It's not been done by Oracle in all these years that we've been here in that formal manner. We thought it was a good opportunity to do it. Ghana is shining in the world, the fastest economy and all that. So it was a good opportunity to come. And also, we wanted to have a chat about modernizing some of the platforms, the platforms for our payroll, to look at it, to drive some more efficiencies for government and bring the sort of savings that they're looking for. We thought all of that, helping with the central procurement platform, helping to be able to manage the data of the citizens, as I alluded to earlier, and also to be able to talk about helping with some startups to grow some crazy IT people like me, out of the young people.
I'm interested in that startup space. So what exactly form would that take?
We are committed to up to 500 startups for Ghana, which is the first that Oracle has done anywhere else on the African continent. So that's good. We want to be able to pick those businesses up, mentor them, give them what we call about cloud credits. That means they can go onto the net and use our tools to be able to create these digital products. And we want to be able to help them by opening markets up for them. So this is 2-3-year program of mentoring and making sure that they get there. And we want to hold something like having a board, a bit like angels, and be able to talk to them and, pick the right businesses and coach them and guide them until they grow. And we are here to make sure that they do so. So we need a panel. If you will mind, I'd like you to be one of the members of the panel to pick the businesses up, because it has to be done well. We need to pick the right talent and groom that talent and see that talent grow. So I am keen to see it. So we'll be here for a while, making sure this is done.
Your passion for this is very infectious.
It's always been my passion, and for me, I will say that I'm glad Oracle have stepped into something that I'm already interested in. this is me, Inshira, this defines me. I was born for this moment. To take this continent. It's in the way we've been affected by inferiority complex, this is a way to put dressing on something that has been undressed. And this is the moment.
And so for all of the young people who see the internet as a place to go and post photos for likes, how do we recreate the imagery where they're able to now see that they can move from being consumers to producers?
Absolutely. Well, I certainly think, again, I go back to mentoring and coaching and teaching. I think they need to be told that the internet is not just for entertainment, because that is what it has been. I think we also need to tell them that they are going to school and they are leaving school to come and create their own businesses. I think we need to be blunt with them that there will be no jobs for them. So they are not going to school to come and work for anybody. It's not possible. You are coming in to create your own job. So that when you spend an hour, 2 hours on the internet, you will not be playing games. You'll be thinking of the best ideas because you have, for the very first time, a worldwide reach on your laptop or whatever you're using that you are not leveraging. You have it. You can press a button. Twitter. Everybody sees it. It's never happened before. So I think that the pain that we have had as an African continent, the shame, the disgrace, the inability to develop as an African continent, this is the moment to reverse it. This is the opportunity. It is a window. We just need to take it. We need our political leaders to spot it. They need to put their weight behind it. And to allow mentors like us to be able to speak into the destinies of these kids and group them.
You know, quite interesting, you say that it's important that the political system would recognize the opportunity and back it. But there's also, in some quarters, a counter-argument that a lot of what happened really didn't require political systems to affect it very much. The Googles, the Oracle, Facebook, all of these were started because of the market economy. Do you agree?
I agree to an extent, but I can add more. If you look at all these companies, they are Jewish. Larry is a Jew. Steve Bezos is a Jew. They are all Jews.
Mark.
Google, the Google guys are Jews. Because the Jews do not believe in working for another. They believe in setting up your own platforms. So, but also the other side of it is that the Americans had the right infrastructure for these kids to build on. That requires political intervention. So you need a mixture of both. So we need to be able to tell our politicians that, okay, give us the right platforms by supporting it. But as a culture and as a people and as a family, tell these kids that you can do it because you've done it. You can do it too. That needs mentoring. That's where we come in.
Wow. I mean, you're quite passionate about this. Last year, you spoke at the Festival of Ideas, and you laid out some trends, you know. And for me, one thing that stuck was presumption.
Absolutely.
And if I'm right, my memory serves me.
The 12 pillars, that's one of them.
12 pillars, yes.
That's correct.
Now, presumption is this new pillar where there's a very fine line between who's producing and who's consuming.
Absolutely.
And that somebody's product can become the foundation of your own product.
Absolutely.
Help me appreciate that more.
Facebook, we create the content for them. We put content in for them to use. You wear a yellow dress, by the evening you wear a blue dress, they have new content to put out there. So you become a consumer, at the same time become a producer of information for them. This is another pillar of the digital economy. And we have the ability to produce information. We are very good with these tools and be able to monetize it. By the way, Ghana is a heavy user of Facebook. There's no commercial. Nobody's making any money out of it. We could be leveraging it because we're producing information that is being consumed by others. Have we sat down to have any commercial negotiation with anybody? Sadly, no. We can do it.
Let's explore some of the other pillars. I mean, this is mind-blowing and exciting at the same time. But what other pillars from the 12 that you enumerated do you feel we can add or put some impetus on and focus to help speed up this turnaround?
Innovation, for example. When we talk about innovation, we're talking about SMART. That's an acronym for social. So social tools, Facebook, mobile, the phones that we have, analytics, cloud, and the Internet of Things. Innovation now is around that. It's around the SMART concept, which was developed by MIT. So our children need to be, our kids now, 18 to 35, they need to be socially aware. They need to be able to use these mobile tools, because now with your mobile phone, you can receive any information anywhere. It's more powerful than the computer of 10 years ago, this little tool you have in your hand. Analytics, ability to analyze that information using these tools. Cloud, and then Internet of Things. Internet of Things is the ability to have computers connect everywhere and to be able to share information. So that if you're going up the road now and there's traffic, the phone can tell you, because there's another computer somewhere that has a camera that is saying that there's traffic that can share it. These tools are available now in Israel. They are available. Blockchain. So if you are young and you are 18 to 35 years and you don't know blockchain, then you are illiterate. Because blockchain is the ability to record transactions in a secure manner, and it has never happened before. So all these issues we have with corrupt data, that goes away with blockchain. What I'm seeing now, I'm getting gray now, but I want to change my age. I want to
plug into this.
Oh no, I want to take some 20 years off. So for those who can help, allow me to wipe something off, because this is the generation that others missed. I am so proud to be an African, because we stand at the forefront of being able to leverage this generation. Nobody else has had this opportunity. Even in Europe, these are all mature in terms of capabilities. Here it is fresh and it is new. So our economies will be able to do more. Our GDP growth will be up and higher, and we are going to create more millionaires. Because if you're looking for millionaires in Ghana with $100 million, you won't find many. In Israel, you won't. But the age is coming very shortly. When our kids seize the internet, they'll be moving in the $1 million and the $1 billion class.
Wow.
It's there.
And the SMASIT concept, I mean, we can leverage technology.
Yes.
Innovate and provide solutions to things that affect us on a daily basis.
Yes.
But because of the internet, this is available. I mean, the market is no longer just Ghana.
Yes.
That we're doing stuff right around the world.
Absolutely.
And we have a critical mass of young people.
Yes.
Who we need to groom well. And you talk a lot about coaching. You talk about mentoring. You talk about harnessing all of these things. Where do you see the media's role in all of this?
That's a very, very good one. I think when the media, certainly you and others I have met, are aware. I think we need to step out there and push that message, certainly about not being employed. That needs to be pushed out there, because our investors are churning out people who are waiting to be employed. That needs to change. I think the media also need to give us the ability, for example, these startups, to be able to do some filming and to be able to share it for people to have the experience. Because I certainly want it to go all over the country. So the areas where we can't reach, maybe perhaps put the message out there. I certainly also think that there's an opportunity for the media to work in a different way in this era. And the opportunities for media by itself to be able to change the way they do things and to be better at their game. And it's also an opportunity for you to be disrupted and allow that disruption to move you to the next level.
Give me 2 ideas of where you see those disruptions happening.
I certainly think that if these days you're talking about channels. I mean, I look at YouTube, for example, in Israel. There is no reason why we can't have our own version of YouTube in town. No. And I think there are young people here who can create it and we can put our own content on it. And from these beautiful cameras here, be able to broadcast as our own version of YouTube, reaching Ghanaians and Ghanaians alone. The
And
opportunity.
invite the world to join us.
Absolutely,
consume our
and
content.
subscribe, and pay us money for having that content. I see that. I also see the ability to be able to use data that has been, properly structured, to be able to use to reach the right people with the right information based on our own platforms that perhaps the Facebooks of life cannot provide. Because I expect that there will be some data restrictions in the ability for Facebook to have certain access to data to protect the local industries who get into that space to be able to do it. I'm saying it openly so they don't get access.
That's right.
They don't get access. They don't get to your data, but you as a Ghanaian can set up something and they will get access. And you can provide a what we call a plug-in to Facebook if you choose. All of these things we can do. The least we can do is to copy Israel. Why not?
And build on that.
And build on that. Why can't we have our own emails? All these Gmail, AOL, and pay Ghanaians for running these platforms. Why can't we have our own search engines? Why not? What really is a search engine? It is a database that has access to mine the net. That's all it is, running on an Oracle database.
So the tools are available for us to leverage.
Yes. We just need to tell the kids that they will not have another job.
Well, already, I think the World Economic Forum a few years ago, just 50% of the jobs that are available today will not be there in another 10 years.
Good. We need to publish that and send it to all the schools. Because they are Facebooking all the time. We need to turn Facebook from becoming entertainment and the way to be seen and the way to be identified to a tool that people can use to market. That is not happening today. They're just changing clothes and telling everybody,
This is me.
this is me.
Thanks very much, Franklin. We're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we'll jump into some practical applications of technology that serve as low-hanging fruits that we can explore. You're still watching the Executive Lounge, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Executive Lounge. I'm Inshirado, and my guest is Franklin Asare. He is the country leader of Oracle Systems here in Ghana. When we went for the break, I did mention I'd like to explore, in your mind, what you think are the practical applications that we can use technology to fix today. I know you've talked about the macro stuff, but what... For a young man or woman out there, I just want you to shine a light in a direction where they could probably pick a few nuggets that they could use.
Oh, interesting. These are good ideas. Well, I can share some openly. Well, I certainly think we can use it in our land registration systems. Straight off the bat, we can do it and do it very well.
And what kind of technology do you think would be appropriate?
Spatial technology. They could come up into apps. I certainly think we can improve upon what we have at Ghana Post. The technology has moved on. I certainly think we can have apps that will allow us to be able to tell hospital services that are available where there are beds. I know there are some out there, but we can do them better and share them, obviously with government support, and put them into worldwide use. We certainly can have ones that we can do things that can help us with the weather. I mean, the last week or so, some earthquakes have been reported. There's no reason why some apps couldn't have told us, coming out of the geological department. We can share weather information.
It's like endless possibilities.
Absolutely. So for me, we haven't even scratched the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot we can do. And the young people can lead that effort. They can do it. Because everybody is doing payment systems and payment systems and payment systems. There's more to life than just payment systems. There's a lot out there.
Wow. You come across as someone who's like deeply passionate about transformation. Why?
Isha, you know, I am interested in leadership. I have read maybe over 100 biographies. I've studied leaders. And, you know, I support leaders in Lockwood Institute, and we train leaders, working with Manchester Business School, working with Professor P.K. Richardson, and I've interviewed so many of our top leaders in Ghana. This is not the era they prepared for. So we have a problem with our leaders in their readiness for this era, because we are talking now about digital leadership, not the leadership that allowed us to run our G's of life. This is a new era. And that concerns me, that we are not working to develop them. I'm also passionate about seeing efficiencies across government, in particular. And, you know, I'm a fellow of Imani. And,
Imani, think tank Imani, Africa.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
okay.
it's all because over the years we've just been trying to understand. That's all we're trying to do. But even then, the gap is being able to put these systems in place, because it allows us to be given the opportunity to fix the issues. So I'm over 50 now, and I've been doing this, and I tell myself, I work for Okol, I have a good life by the grace of God. What am I leaving behind? So for me, this is a legacy that the African, particularly the Ghanaian, would have an input and an insight into IT and be able to leverage it and contribute to the millionaires that Africa is about to develop. I like to see a huge percentage of them come from Ghana. And that is what is driving me. I wake up every day, that's what I want to see.
Wow.
And it's deep, and it's eating me away. So you know,
you do it.
And I want to do it.
See, suddenly I want to be 18 or 35 now.
Absolutely.
You know, as we get ready to wrap up, and time just, you know, zip past, I think my last two questions would be, as the economists would say, all other things being equal, that we are able to harness the demographic of 18 to 35. Right systems in place. Can you paint me a picture of what this country would look like 15 years from now?
Ghana will be a beautiful nation. You'll be able to use your phones and get through our airports, because your phones will be able to mark you out and stamp you in through immigration. You'll be able to go through baggage clearance and find your baggage, because it will be tied to the IP of your phone. You'll be able to buy things using your phone and have a proper cashless society mapped onto you. The government on the other side will be able to tax you right, because they'll be able to get the full import of what you've generated as revenue and be able to tax it. You will have access to government services, hospitals. Doctors will not have to look for your file. They will all be mapped to you as an individual wherever you go. You will be able to fly abroad into other countries, and you'll be able to pick up your data and tell who you are. And you don't have to go through endless interviews to try and figure out whether you've been, you know, how do they call it these days, to make sure that you're radicalized or not. This is the moment. You'll be able to, I even think our church services will change. Because the 3D technology, which is available for us to be able to have our worship services as we do today, are all available on the phone today. The new world is our world.
So we'll be congregating from all over the world in one place, digital church.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that the politicians will have to change, because we will be voting using our mobile phones. There will no longer be any need for pink sheets. To be a thing of the past. The way the Electoral Commission works today, there will be no need for them. And maybe, who knows, We will not need a 4-year term then, because we'll be working against a national agenda that everybody is aware of. And if you are not doing the work right, we can vote you using our mobile phones to go. Why do we need to wait for 4 years? There'll be a certain level of transparency that we don't have now. And most importantly, we'll be able to have wisdom. With everything built up, for wisdom to move to power, the ability to get things done, and ultimately influence. During that time, I believe that Ghanaians, and we've led African growth by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and others, for the Ghanaian to shine. Everywhere you go today, you put a Ghanaian passport, you're respected. I believe those days are coming back, double portion, triple portion, because of our ability to use technology. There is nowhere in Africa today, and I've been everywhere, with the kind of people we have, the distinguished hospitality that we have. I think we can build on it, and we have political leadership to be able to do it, and we need to talk at all those levels to be able to change that. Hopefully we have the young people ready, 18 to 35, and we have some mentors who, by the grace of God, will have some strength to be able to mentor. The future is bright.
And on that bright note, I'd like to say a big thank you, Franklin, for making time to talk to us on the Executive Lounge. And for me, 5 takeouts from this conversation. Number 1 is passion. That when you get into a space and you immerse yourself into it, to be sustained and be able to be effective, you must have passion for what you do. And it's demonstrable in everything that Franklin has said so far. Number 2 is optimism. Franklin admits there have been problems, we're far behind, but that gap also presents an opportunity. It's not a failure that we're behind, but it actually presents an opportunity to catch up and leapfrog. Number 3 is that we all have a sense of responsibility. The responsibility of handing something good to the next generation, empowering them, harnessing their skills so that they can make the future better. And if they also lived with a sense of responsibility, then you can see a quantum leap of changes once they also harness the generation after them. And the 4th thing I'm taking away from this conversation is that technology is here. You either evolve or die. And the sooner we evolve, the better it would be for us. The final thing for me is that we must live with a legacy mentality. You know, not everyone would be comfortable in their life and say, you know, I really want my life to count for something after I'm gone. And that is a beautiful thing, something we can all aspire to. Once again, thank you very much, Franklin.
Thank you, Sheikh. Thank you for having me.
It's been awesome.
Thank you.
And to you, thank you for watching. And we'll be back again with more of the best minds on the Executive Lounge. My name is Inshira Ado, and thank you to my friends at Villa Monticello and the crew. And to you, again, for watching. Go forward, make rain. Shalom. Is this something you learned when you were born an entrepreneur?
You got to start small.
I have not allowed being a woman to hold me back.
Credibility is not just making money, it's about making sure that people trust what you're doing.
Law practice is not only about going to court, it's about advice.
It's very difficult to hire somebody who's not motivated and then make them motivated.
One of the things that I'm known for is integrity.
They have to see you as a person of integrity.
Welcome to the Executive Lounge. I'm Inshira Ado.